Hello, folks. In this video, we're going to continue on with our birthday countdown tracker, our birthday tracker. And up until now, we've added our dictionary. We've added our function, get birthdays, using date time. And we learned about using return to set that function to be equal to a value. And in this case, what we did was get days until B day. We set that value to be equal to the integer version of difference.days. And then we used that function here in report days left to get that number. And now we can work with it. So up until now, we've done if num days is equal to 0. We learned that we can return a multi-line value that in this case gets returned as a string. Okay, so person.capitalize gets mixed with the person's birthdays today, and it all gets passed through. And we pass it to a print statement here when we call this. So essentially when we return this, the program will immediately stop. It'll make the function equal to this value. And so when we print this function with that parameter passed in, we get this in return. Okay. So what we can do is we could finish up the rest of these statements here to account for other days as well. And if it's in the future or if it's in the past, okay, if the birthday already happened this year, we're going to have to do some fancy footwork to make sure that that actually appears to be logical to the user, that they don't just say, Jonah's birthday is in negative 20 days. Okay, that doesn't make much sense. Okay. We can say how many days until the next birthday is coming up. So we're going to have to work with that. And we can go through and I'll show you how we can go and report everyone's birthday. So basically we can get a report of everyone's birthday all at once. So pretty handy. One thing we'll do though is it's important that we are consistent in the way that we are writing our functions and we are trying to access information. And early on, we made a design decision, okay, about how we were going to do this. And it was we were going to get the birth date by passing in the person. And originally, we were calling this person with the name of the dictionary, people, and then the name of the person. Here, we changed it slightly down here to report days left. We pass in a person in here, okay? But that's not exactly what we're doing. We are passing in not necessarily a person. I mean, yes, it's a person, but really what the thing is the name, and the name has a birth date tied to it. So we're going to clean up this code just a little bit here, just to clarify what's happening. All right. So we want to be able to pass in just a name and have everything else done for us. So report days left. Okay. What we're going to do here is we're going to change report days left. We're going to change this to name. All right. Report days left, name. And num days left, get days until B day. We're going to change this people and then brackets person. We're just going to change that to name. All right, now we're getting errors down here because it says name person.capitalize. We're going to change that to name.capitalize. Okay. And so now this is going to run, except we're going to clarify this up here, get days until B day. I'm going to change person here to name. And then the one other place we're going to need to change it is get birthdays and convert to datetime. Birthday equals datetime.date year. We're no longer accessing the person. We're going into the people dictionary and we're getting that name and then we're getting the month. So it says person right now. We just need to do that, change that to people, brackets name. Okay. And now it should work. But I mean, we can run it and see. Let's do print tests. Okay, let's go test run here. Okay, none. The reason, if you got none, the reason you're getting none is because we haven't dealt with any other scenario besides if the birthday number days equals 0. So it's saying none because there is nothing to return. It's called a void function. And we can change that by changing, say, Tess's birthday to be today. So 5/15. Now, if we run this, we see Tess's birthday is today. Okay, so everything's running perfectly. But what it does is it clarifies in the code what is happening so we could trace it back. So report days left, all we need to do is pass in a name, We're not calling this. Well, the only place we can get this name is from this dictionary. So, and the only time we reference the dictionary is here, get days until B day. So this handles going into the people, getting the name, and then everything else we're doing is deriving from that get days until B day function. So we have functions that are depending on other functions to do their job. And report days left doesn't care what magic get days until B day is doing. It can't see into the function. It has no idea. Some magic is getting done, and it's reporting back a number, an integer number, right? And then we assign that to num days inside report days left. So functional programming or organizing your code into functions is a great way to keep things organized and neat. But with those name changes, it should clarify what exactly it is we're passing into each function in order for it to work. Okay. All right. Let's go down to back to our report days left name, and let's write the rest of this out. Okay. Let's handle those cases where it's not today. So let's do Elif. All right. And the logic here is if the number is 0, that means that there's no days left until the person's birthday, and the birthday has to be today, right? So we definitely want to return that today is their birthday. The two other scenarios that we're going to have is if the birthday is in the future and if the birthday is in the past. All right, so future birthdays, past birthdays. We know that returns negative. We know that past birthdays, when we do our math up here, the num days, it's going to return a negative value. Okay, so meaning that the birthday is going to be like -20, -30, however many days in the past for this year that birthday, when that birthday was. So we can't just like wrap this in an absolute value and get the number of days since it, because if we said absolute value of -20 is 20, somebody's birthday is in 20 days, that doesn't make sense. But think about that, right? So if we know the absolute value, or we know the value, okay, we know the value is -20, okay, just say for somebody's birthday, we can actually do a bit of math to increase that value. So we have these two cases we have to handle, okay, but literally besides the birthday being today and the birthday being in the past, every other birthday is going to happen in the future, right? Between now and the end of the year. So in that case, what we can do is actually we can reverse the order of these things and deal with past birthdays first. Okay, what happens if the number is 0? Okay, what happens if it's in the past, and then what happens if for all future birthdays? All right, we know that else. Okay, let's handle future birthdays then. Else we can return a multi-line, and we could do name dot capitalize. Whoops, name dot capitalize. Yeah, that's right. Okay, and then we can do str. Actually, I want to do the plus at the end of that line. str num days. Then we do space days. Okay, so we get a capitalized version of the name. We get a string version of the number of days. A Python won't let you add together a string, a number, and a string. It doesn't like that. Okay, if you're using something like JavaScript, you can do that, but here you can't. Python's going to make you convert it first. So here we have a name, string version of the name, and then days. Okay, and this is going to be for every other occasion that is not today. So let's go up and let's find somebody's birthday. Jonah's birthday is the 19th of December. So let's put in Jonah down the bottom here. Days left, Jonah. Okie dokie. And, oh, wait, whoops. Jonah. There we go. Okay. Jonah's, what did I forget? Oh, I forgot one line. Okay. Go back up here. Name.capitalize. Yeah, that didn't make sense, huh? All right. So is in, so, apostrophe S birthday is in space and apostrophe. So I'm going to try it again. Straight, oh, got the plus sign. There we go. Okay. So Jonah's birthday is in 218 days. Perfect. Okay. So that tells us that when his birthday will be or how many days until his birthday. Okay. Very cool. Okay. So that handles the else case. So we have if the number of days equals 0 and literally everything else inside the future. What we have not dealt with is this, these past birthdays. Okay. And for past birthdays, what we generally want to do is, well, let's write out and see what we got. Let's go and actually, let's do a quick test. So whose birthday was in the past? We got Adam. So let's go down here and let's console log Adam. Okay, Adam's birthday is in -8 days. That's not really that helpful. All right. What we want to know, though, is how many days until that birthday, right? So if his birthday, we're already, I guess, technically 8 birthdays past his birthday, right? We're 8 days past it. It happened 8 days ago. And we know that birthday happens once every year, right? So it should be 365 days. Okay. That being the case, we can do is actually just do a bit of math on this one. And Adam's birthday is really 365 days minus 8. Okay. Because we already went through the past 8. So in doing so, what we can actually do is we can do like a third option here, a option B. Elif num days is less than 0. Okay. If it's -8, let's say. What we can do is we can actually do actually we can reassign num days. Okay, num days is going to get equal the number of days, say -8, plus 365. That will handle the year rotation on it and bring us back to the current date minus 365, or -8, right? So it will get us the same day in the year, but it'll make it a positive value, okay? And then we can do a return statement. And we can do name.capitalize plus. We can do the same thing we had below. Birthday is in string num days plus days. Okay. So name.capitalize plus apostrophe S, birthday is in plus string plus. All right, there we go. Okay. So let's give it a go and let's run it. And we have Adam still in here at the bottom here. So we should be able to test a negative version of this self. And okay, so Adam's birthday is in 357 days. Okay, so this accounts for the fact that the year is going to go around. It's gonna go back to if this is May, it's gonna go back to May again, and it basically tells us that this is how many days we have until the person's next birthday. Okay, very neat. So now we should have everything handled. We have if num days equals that. So we handle for today. We handle the past birthdays. I'll get rid of returns -1, negative number. Returns past birthdays. We get future birthdays handled. All right, everything looks pretty good. The last thing to do here would be to go and to write out the like a function that's going to report all of the names of the people. All right. So let's go down here to our new line here. And let's do a new function, define, report all birthdays. Okay. And inside this, we essentially want to report, we want to print out the birthdays, but for every person in our list here. And if we have more people, we would want to print it out for them too. We don't want to have to write out, writing out a print statement for every person here isn't all that hard, right? You just copy, paste. But we want to get in the habit of not repeating ourselves. So in this case, we are repeating a print statement, report days left for Jonah, Tess, and so on. Okay, we don't want to repeat ourselves. And if you don't want to repeat yourself, you have to write a loop, okay? And so we can write what's called a for in loop. Okay, for name in people. Okay, and does it know what people is? Yes, it does. People is a variable that contains a dictionary. So because it's a global variable, people is already taken by that thing above, so it knows what that is. Name is a local variable. It does not necessarily know what name is. We could do for X in people, for T in people. It doesn't really matter. I put name there because I like to name my variables in a way that makes sense. So for name in people, so for every name in people, so for every name, Jonah, Tess, and Adam, we're going to do something. And what are we going to do? We are going to print report person days left, and we're going to give it that name, okay? And what name is that? That name is the name we just defined above, right here. Okay, so report all persons days left, name. All right, why is this throwing an error? Undefined name, report days left. That's a lie. What do we get here? It should be fine. Report all days left, name, print. Oh, let me format and find out what's going on here. So I hit auto format up the top there. That's why it spaced everything else here as such. Why is it throwing an error here? Report person, days left, name. Undefined person, undefined name. Report. Oh, sorry. Report days left. That's right. Report days left. There we go. Okay. So yeah, if you ever want to format your stuff, you can hit this little auto format button at the top here, and it will space everything out for you nice and neat. That's what we're seeing here. Okay. So, all right. So for report all birthdays, for name and people, print. Okay, we click run, and nothing happens because we didn't call it. So go back to the main line of the program, make sure it's not indented, and we just have to do report all birthdays. Wrap in parentheses, and now let's run it. Bam. All right, check that out. That's looking cool. Okay, so Jonah's birthday is in 218 days. Tessa's birthday is today. Adam's birthday is in 357 days. So pretty neat. This right here goes through. It goes for every name in the people, prints off their name, right? Adds it to the birthday list here. That's pretty cool. What we don't have it do, now looking at it, ways you can improve this is Jonah's birthday is in 218 days. Tessa's birthday is in today. So the because it's going through each person in the list, it's just reporting out their names. What this doesn't do is say create a new dictionary sorted by people's birthday, right? So you don't have here is 218 days. Tessa's birthday is today. Adam's birthday is in 357 days. So we don't, I mean, there's a lot of automation that could happen here to reshuffle these so that, the person's birthday is at the top and followed by all the way down to like the longest birthday, which would be, I guess, 364 days. If the birthday was yesterday. But in that case, that would take a little bit more time and additional functions to sort it and maybe return a new dictionary or add the property here of days until B day, and we could sort it by that property. So there's a lot of things we could do from here, but for right now, I think this is good enough. The main focus here was learning about the return feature. What is that doing? The use of it, right, in a practical application. Trying to build a little app here that tracks birthdays. There is, I suppose, the other way we can extend this is calculating their age, at how old they'll be, and maybe we'll take that up in the next video. But for right now, I'm happy with what we have, and I think it serves the purpose of going through showing return, and it's kind of a weird way of actually organizing all this. I don't wonder why it's doing when I reorganize it. Sorry, I don't know why it reorganized it by putting it on the same line. That's actually really kind of annoying. Maybe you shouldn't hit that button. I like the way it was before. Okay, in any case. off track. Yeah, that's good enough for today, and it shows, or this video, and it shows that how to return, what a return does, and how we can use it in to call on functions inside of the functions to access those values. Okay, so that's it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.